Hello and welcome, my beloved friend, my fellow chosen one. I don't say this lightly, and I don't say it to everyone. There is something happening inside your body right now that science can't explain, logic can't decode, and time cannot contain. It's not coming, it's already here. Not tomorrow, not in some mystical future, but right now, in your bones, in your breath, in the quiet moments where you feel a shift that no one else can quite put their finger on. It began subtly, a flicker in your step that felt oddly effortless, a strange lift in your chest that made you pause, the feeling of remembering something holy that you didn't even know you had forgotten. What's happening inside you isn't cosmetic, it's cosmic. It isn't shallow, it's sacred. This is not surface-level wellness. This is deep, cellular resurrection. What you are feeling is not imagination. It's not adrenaline. It's not wishful thinking. It's alignment. Your body is responding to a frequency straight from the throne of heaven. It's as if heaven issued a command, and your cells, your bones, your breath, your heart, your nervous system are obeying it. And the instruction is simple. Return to who you were always meant to be. Reset the systems corrupted by fear and fatigue. Reawaken the parts of you that were never meant to grow dim. You're not aging. You're activating. You're not declining. You're aligning. And what's most incredible is that your body knows it. It's been waiting for this divine signal. And now that it's here, there's no turning back. Before we dive deeper into this message that I believe will unlock something powerful in your life, let me pause for a moment to say thank you truly from the bottom of my heart. To every one of you who has supported this message through a super thanks donation. Your generosity helps push this word further, deeper, and into more lives that desperately need it. You are not just giving, you are sowing into transformation. And even if you haven't given financially, please know this: I am just as grateful for your presence, your spirit, and your hunger to grow. You being here means the world to me, and I do not take it lightly. Now, if you're already sensing the fire of this message burning in your spirit, I want you to take a bold step of agreement. Type 999 in the comments right now if you know this isn't just a video, this is confirmation. 999 is the number of completion before breakthrough. It's the final call before release. If you've been feeling like something big is about to break open in your life, typing 999 is your way of saying, God, I'm ready. This moment is sacred. What we're about to unfold is more than encouragement, it's revelation. So take a breath. Let it fill your chest like new wind in old lungs, because what's coming next will confirm everything your spirit has been whispering for years. Let's go. God's chosen ones. God is rewiring your body for what's coming. This isn't about chasing some illusion of youth or pretending time hasn't touched you. This is something far more sacred, far more divine, and infinitely more powerful. Chosen one. God is not calling you back to the person you were. He is moving you into the body you were always meant to inhabit. Can you feel it? That tug in your spirit? That stirring in your bones that doesn't quite have words? That's not nostalgia or wishful thinking. That's divine rewiring. Heaven is not interested in appearances the way the world is. The world idolizes youthful skin, a rapid metabolism, the absence of wrinkles, and the masking of time. But God defines youth by something eternal, something that cannot be surgically created or cosmetically applied. This frequency you are stepping into is one of divine youth, strength without fear, beauty that requires no effort, joy that does not burn you out, and movement that is free from pain or limitation. Do you understand what's truly happening inside of you right now? This isn't imagination. It isn't just mind over matter. It's spirit over structure. The very cells in your body are responding to a spiritual signal being broadcast from heaven. You are not being reminded of your past. You are being reformed for your future. And not just any future, a sacred future. God is restoring your body back to the divine settings it was originally created with, before the trauma, before the fatigue, before the battles that wore you down. This is not restoration for vanity's sake. It's restoration for destiny's sake. Your body is being tuned, recalibrated, upgraded to carry the weight of your assignment, because what's coming requires strength that doesn't just come from gym workouts or meal plans. What's coming requires supernatural vitality, and God is making sure you have it. Think about this. How many times have you looked in the mirror and said, I'm tired, but I don't know why? How often have you felt the ache in your joints? not just from age, but from spiritual pressure pressing down on your physical frame. That's not just biology, that's spiritual resistance manifesting in your flesh. But here's the good news, you're not stuck there, you're being transformed. Romans 8:11 says, "And if the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead is living in you, he who raised Christ from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies, because of his spirit who lives in you." That means your body, yes, your actual physical body, is being given a second wind, a holy regeneration powered by resurrection itself. This is why you've been feeling unusual shifts lately, moments where your energy spikes unexpectedly, where your spirit feels alert, even when your mind can't explain it. Have you ever found yourself standing still but feeling like something is moving inside you? That's the rewiring. That's the divine restoration process in real time. And it's not just metaphysical, it's molecular. God is reaching into the blueprint of your design and flipping switches that had been shut off by fear, trauma, and spiritual warfare. He's reminding your blood how to flow with fire. He's reminding your heart how to beat in rhythm with courage. He's reminding your spine to stand tall, not just for posture, but for power. Let me give you an example. Oprah Winfrey, after surviving abuse and poverty, reached a point where her body began to carry the scars of emotional trauma. She didn't just go through healing mentally, she had to realign physically. And as she began walking in her divine calling, her glow wasn't just about makeup or lighting, it was frequency. Her body began to radiate alignment. Another example, Nelson Mandela, after 27 years of imprisonment, came out not just with hope in his heart, but fire in his bones. The world thought prison would destroy him, but God rewired him in the quiet. What looked like decay was actually preparation. He walked out renewed, carrying a strength that no gym could produce. That's what's happening to you. Have you asked yourself why your appetite is changing, why certain foods no longer satisfy, or why you suddenly crave stillness and sunlight? These aren't coincidences, they're signals. Your body is trying to obey the new instructions coming from heaven. You're being pulled into habits that match your next level. You're being drawn to water more than sugar, peace more than noise, prayer more than platforms. All of it is part of God's reconstruction plan. Isaiah 40:31 reminds us, "But those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not grow weary. They shall walk and not faint." You are not aging in the traditional sense. You are ascending. And this isn't limited to prophets and preachers. Look at Vera Wang, the iconic fashion designer. She didn't launch her world-changing bridal line until her 40s. But she didn't just bring a brand. She brought divine timing. Her body, her energy, her mind had all been recalibrated for something that couldn't have happened in her 20s. God is not on the world's clock, and neither are you. He is not restoring you to look like the past. He's restoring you to handle the future. He is putting youth in your spirit and strength in your stride, not so you can admire yourself in the mirror, but so you can move through doors no one thought you had the stamina to walk through. Doesn't that explain why people around you don't understand your glow? Why you've been looking more alive, more radiant, more unbothered, even when life around you is chaotic? It's because your healing isn't cosmetic, it's covenantal. God made a promise concerning your future, and that promise required a vessel that could withstand fire, favor, and legacy. Psalm 103:5 declares, "He satisfies your desires with good things, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles." This isn't mythology, it's manifestation. One more story. Watch Serena Williams. After injury, after childbirth, after critics counted her out, she returned to the court with a body that had been through war and won again. Not because of sheer willpower alone, but because of divine resilience. Her body became a testimony of comeback energy. You, chosen one, are being built for the same kind of return. Not just to a platform or position, but to the divine frequency that was written into your DNA before the foundation of the world. So why do you think God allowed your body to break before it was rebuilt? Could it be that He wanted to silence the noise around you so He could retune your entire system? Could it be that He's not trying to take you back in time, but forward into truth? 2 Corinthians 4:16 says, "Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day." That's your reality now. You're not just surviving, you're regenerating. You're not just aging, you're activating. And no, this isn't fantasy. This is faith meeting physiology. The cells that once bowed to the limitations of age, fatigue and decay are no longer following the old script. Chosen one, your body is no longer responding to the commands of brokenness. It's responding to the whispers of heaven. The microscopic instructions that used to echo stress, trauma, and generational fatigue are being rewritten even as you read this. You are not simply recovering from life, you are being recalibrated for destiny. Can you feel it? That internal tug of war between exhaustion and energy, that strange tension between physical tiredness and spiritual alertness. It's not a malfunction, it's a divine recalibration. God is releasing new instructions, and your body is receiving them like signals from a satellite, silent but undeniable. You're not going crazy. You're not imagining this. Your bones may ache, but somehow your spirit keeps rising. Your skin may feel foreign to you, glowing in ways that defy skincare routines or logical explanation, but that's not cosmetic change, that's sacred transformation. God is aligning every fiber of your being with the divine blueprint. He wrote over your life before you were even born. This isn't anti-aging, it's divine resurrection disguised as rejuvenation. And no, it's not delusion. This is the process of your vessel being returned to factory settings, factory being heaven, and the settings being eternal purpose. As Philippians 1:6 reminds us, being confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. This isn't a temporary renewal, it's a total rebuild. Do you find yourself waking up with a surge of energy that comes out of nowhere? Do your dreams feel more vivid, almost prophetic? Has your body started rejecting what once comforted you? Certain foods, certain people, certain environments? That's calibration. You are no longer being maintained by worldly patterns. You are being timed by heaven's rhythm. This new timing isn't built on clock cycles, it's built on kingdom cycles. What looks like fatigue is often the death of an old system. What feels like confusion is often the breaking of limits. It's the rewiring process. God isn't just healing you, He's retiming you, not to return you to how you used to feel, but to prepare you for what's about to unfold. Look at someone like C.S. Lewis. He didn't write the Chronicles of Narnia until after deep loss, long nights of doubt and personal sorrow. But as God began healing his heart, Lewis didn't just regain clarity, he was retimed. His mind, body and voice aligned with a moment in history that needed his words. And because he trusted the process, millions were changed. Or consider Jane Fonda, who became an icon of grace and energy in her later years. After decades of physical discipline, emotional transformation and spiritual awakening, her body carried the wisdom of change, but also the vibrancy of divine purpose. She wasn't trying to be young again, she was simply living in her divine timing. Why does your body feel like it's both shedding and awakening at the same time? Because it is. Old patterns of stress, anxiety, survival mode, hypervigilance are being melted down by the fire of God's touch. Every cell is being reminded of Eden. Every muscle is being rewired for mission. And this level of recalibration can feel like chaos before it feels like clarity. It's the moment before resurrection, when the grave shakes, when the old form trembles, when the stone starts rolling and light hits what was once dark. Ezekiel 37:6 says, I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you and you will come to life. That's not metaphor, that's molecular prophecy. It's happening inside of you now. Even Elon Musk, while not a spiritual figure in the conventional sense, shows us what it means to rewire the body for a new reality. His biohacking, sleepless focus, and borderline obsession with the future are examples of what it looks like when the physical is forced to adapt to an unseen calling. But unlike the world's version, your rewiring doesn't come from machines, implants, or science fiction. It comes from sacred design. Your reboot doesn't require technology, it requires surrender. The Spirit of God is your programmer, and He is activating functions you forgot you had: resilience, vitality, discernment, and flow. Have you noticed how your reactions are slower to fear, but faster to truth? That's no accident. Your nervous system is beginning to obey peace over panic. Your immune system is learning to protect purpose over preference. You're not simply being made well, you're being made ready. And that readiness doesn't mean perfection, it means alignment. The pain you've felt in recent weeks hasn't been punishment, it's been preparation. Hebrews 12:11 says, No discipline seems pleasant at the time but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. You're being trained. Your pain has been part of the programming. Your confusion has been a cocoon for redefinition. Let's take someone like Viola Davis. Raised in poverty, ridiculed for her skin, ignored by mainstream platforms for years, yet something inside her refused to obey limitation. Her body carried trauma, but also a hidden fire. And once God began to retime her voice, everything shifted. She didn't need to chase roles. Roles began to chase her. That's what happens when you stop living by the rules of age, race, or status, and start living by the frequency of divine alignment. That's what's happening to you now. Don't dismiss the signals your body is sending. They are sacred notifications of an upgrade underway. So ask yourself, why would God go to such lengths to retime your entire being if nothing was about to happen? Why would heaven rewire your muscles, your breath, your perception, your sleep, your energy, if you were just meant to coast? The answer is simple and stunning. Because you're about to be used. You're not being restored for revelation. You're being restored for revelation. Isaiah 58:11 says, "The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame." That means this transformation isn't cosmetic, it's covenantal. This strength isn't surface level, it's structural. This season is not about returning to who you used to be, it's about becoming who you were always meant to be. And that becoming starts in the body, because the temple must be fit for the glory it's about to carry. You are not merely changing, you are being timed to divine events, to prophetic release, to healing miracles, to supernatural provision. So chosen one, breathe deeper, listen closer, trust harder. God isn't just healing you, He's synchronizing you with the impossible. And when the moment comes, your body will already know how to move. There are divine callings ahead of you, chosen one, that will demand more than just belief. They will require clarity that cuts through chaos, stamina that endures storms, and presence that commands atmospheres. These are not the kind of assignments you can fulfill with willpower alone. That's why heaven is not just whispering encouragement to your soul, it's reaching down into your biology. God is not just preparing your spirit, He is rebuilding your body. Why? Because your purpose cannot be carried in a vessel that is breaking down under yesterday's strain. You are being renewed not for vanity but for victory. You are not being sculpted to impress others but to withstand what's coming. Can you feel the difference? The tiredness that once lingered in your bones is lifting. Your mind is starting to feel clearer, more focused, as if a fog is being burned away by divine light. Have you looked in the mirror lately and caught yourself off guard? There's something different about your face, not artificially, but spiritually. It's in your eyes. It's in the way your skin seems to radiate, not with the shine of cosmetics, but with the energy of calling. That's not a filter, it's a flame. Your reflection is beginning to mirror your resurrection. And no, this is not an illusion, it's the visible evidence of an invisible awakening. Psalm 34:5 says, "Those who look to Him are radiant, their faces are never covered with shame." That glow you've noticed isn't because you're sleeping more or drinking more water, though those help. It's because the shame, the heaviness, the self-doubt is being peeled off of you by divine fire. Your eyes are lighting up because your soul is remembering who you are. You are a vessel of divine assignment. You are the carrier of sacred truth. Your very skin is starting to participate in the joy of heaven's plan for you. Consider the story of Maya Angelou. As a young woman, she was silenced by trauma, rejected by society, and overlooked by the systems of her time. But God didn't just heal her spirit. He empowered her body, voice, and presence. As she aged, her physical beauty transformed not because of worldly standards, but because of divine purpose. Her skin glowed because of the wisdom it carried. Her voice trembled with sacred power. And when people looked at her, they didn't just see a poet, they saw a prophet. You are undergoing that same transformation, chosen one, not to entertain, but to empower, not to be admired, but to be activated. Have you noticed how your posture is changing, how you're standing taller, even without realizing it? That's because your body is adjusting to a new level of confidence, a holy boldness that comes from alignment with God's plan. You may find that your voice carries more authority, that people listen when you speak, not because you're louder, but because your frequency is elevated. That is the mark of someone heaven is preparing for impact. Romans 12:2 reminds us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." But that transformation is not limited to your thoughts. It seeps into your skin, it reflects in your gaze, it emanates from your walk. Look at someone like Denzel Washington. He is not just respected because of his talent, but because of his spiritual presence. Even in interviews, his eyes carry intensity. His face bears the mark of purpose. He glows, not with vanity, but with vision. You too are being shaped into someone whose presence shifts rooms. Your skin is becoming a canvas of testimony. The light in your eyes is not superficial, it is sacred. That shimmer is mission, not makeup. That strength in your frame is not gym-born, it's grace-born. Ask yourself, why would God begin to restore your body in such visible ways if He didn't plan to make you visible? Why would heaven illuminate your face if not to place you before kings and leaders? Esther didn't just walk into a palace because she was beautiful. Her beauty was the physical confirmation of divine favor. And like Esther, your appearance is beginning to reflect something far greater than aesthetics. It reflects assignment. It reflects access. It reflects anointing. Isaiah 61 declares, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." That's not poetic imagery. That's prophetic reality for you right now. Let's take another example. Angela Bassett. Her skin, her glow, her regal presence aren't just products of genetics or skincare routines. They're evidence of alignment. Her life reflects consistency, discipline, and divine favor. Her presence speaks before her words do, and so will yours. As you continue to walk in obedience, your body will not just serve you, it will preach for you. You won't need to convince people you've been touched by God. They'll see it in the way you move, the way you look, the way your eyes hold peace and power at the same time. This is what it means to be reformed for destiny. Your biology is becoming your billboard. Heaven is etching favor into your bone structure, encoding strength into your posture, and softening your face not for the sake of charm, but to disarm darkness with divine presence. You'll walk into rooms and not even have to speak for people to know you're different. They'll feel it in their spirit before they hear your name. That's what happens when the vessel becomes holy. That's what happens when God rewires the frame to fit the flame. So, chosen one, what will you do with this change? Will you embrace the glow and walk with reverence, or will you try to explain it away as coincidence? Will you hide it behind humility, or will you honor it with confidence? 2 Corinthians 3:18 says, "And we all who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory are being transformed into His image with ever-increasing glory." That's not just spiritual, it's physical too. Your face is becoming the reflection of your faith. Your glow is not a phase, it's a signal. You've been upgraded inside and out. You're not just glowing, you're glowing for a reason. Your skin is carrying the mission now. Let it shine. Because when the soul starts to believe again, truly, deeply, fearlessly, everything else begins to respond. Not just emotionally, but physically, atmospherically, even energetically. And chosen one, that's what's happening to you now. As your soul reawakens to hope, to promise, to divine possibility, your body follows suit in quiet reverence. The shift is unmistakable. Your voice, once weighed down by years of pressure and silent battles, begins to lighten, not just in pitch but in presence. Your bones, once hunched by invisible burdens, start to realign with dignity and divine design. Your posture subtly shifts into authority, not arrogance, into purpose, not performance. And the space around you, it starts to bend, subtly but surely, to the energy you now carry. Because when God rebuilds a soul, the entire atmosphere makes room for the transformation. Have you noticed the stares lately? The double takes? The way people glance at you and seem unsure why they feel something shift inside them? They might say, "You look different," but they won't be able to explain it. That's because you're no longer operating on the same frequency they remember. You've become a carrier of something heaven-born. What's radiating from you can't be quantified by beauty standards, weight charts, or skincare trends. You're not just glowing, you're testifying. Every cell in your body is now a witness to the healing you've been through. Your light isn't decoration, it's evidence. Your face isn't simply brighter, it's bearing the mark of resurrection. Proverbs 15:13 says, "A happy heart makes the face cheerful, but heartache crushes the spirit." But your joy isn't forced. Your laugh doesn't sound rehearsed. It's not the laughter of someone trying to seem okay. It's the sound of someone who is finally free. Free from timelines, free from people-pleasing, free from self-doubt and silent despair. That's why even your joy feels different now, and others will hear it, and they'll pause, wondering what changed, what shifted, and they may not know the answer, but you will. You'll know it wasn't a spa day or a new routine. It was restoration. It was rebirth. Look at someone like Nelson Mandela. When he walked out of prison after 27 years, the world expected to see a man aged, bitter, broken, but his soul had been fortified in the fire of silence and hope. His body, though aged, carried an unusual grace. His laugh didn't echo pain, it echoed peace. That kind of transformation isn't cosmetic, it's covenantal. And chosen one, that's what's happening to you. You're not being polished, you're being purified. You're not just changing, you're being consecrated. That lightness you feel, it's not fragility, it's the absence of shame. Let me ask you this. When did your voice start sounding more like truth than apology? When did your silence start carrying more power than your words once did? That's a sign. That's the fruit of alignment. People around you may not be able to define it, but they will feel it. They will recognize something divine is at work in you, even if they never say it out loud. You're becoming the kind of person who makes others stop and question what's possible, and not because you preach to them, but because you became the sermon. Isaiah 61:3 speaks of giving a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. That's what's wrapping itself around you now. The heaviness that used to show on your face, the worry lines, the clenched jaw, the tired eyes, is giving way to softness. But not a weak kind of softness, a holy lightness, a divine levity that says, "I've been through fire and still shine." Even your smile has changed, hasn't it? It's no longer about fitting in or pleasing the room. It's a quiet declaration of survival and sacred strength. Think of someone like Keanu Reeves, known for his gentle demeanor, subtle strength and spiritual presence. He doesn't speak often or loudly, but when he does, people listen, not just to his words, but to his energy. He has suffered loss, faced isolation, and yet exudes a humility and peace that speaks louder than status. His glow isn't manufactured, it's earned. And that's the kind of light God is building in you. A light that doesn't flash for attention, but lingers with authority. And maybe you've wondered, why do I feel lighter, even when life is still heavy? Because your lightness isn't a reflection of your circumstances, it's a sign of your new foundation. You're no longer rooted in fear, you're grounded in faith. Your bones are holding promise instead of pressure. Your laugh is no longer covering pain, it's echoing freedom. Your presence is no longer muted, it's magnetic. And all of this isn't something you can fake. You can't Photoshop presence. You can't edit energy. What you're becoming can only be born in the furnace of faith. Let's consider Viola Davis again. After decades of carrying the weight of being unseen, being underestimated, she began to walk in her full truth, and her whole being changed. Her voice, her face, her walk, all began to reflect her inner knowing. She wasn't just acting anymore, she was embodying power. That's what's happening to you. As your soul believes again, believes in who you are, what you carry, and who sent you, your body adjusts. Your chemistry obeys your covenant. John 1:5 says, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." That's the light now radiating from your being, not from perfection, but from persistence, not from popularity, but from purpose. You carry something now that isn't about looking the part, it's about being the part. And your glow, it's not for compliments, it's for confirmation. It's the mark of someone who has been touched by something holy and who now walks in the world not just to exist, but to shift it. So, chosen one, what are you going to do with this new light? Will you hide it, doubt it, dismiss it? Or will you honor it, protect it, and walk boldly in it? Because the world doesn't need more noise, it needs more clarity. And your presence, your posture, your very laugh has become a sacred signal that heaven has moved in. Don't shrink back now. You've come too far. You're not just glowing, you're testifying. And heaven is using your face, your voice and your walk as evidence that resurrection is real. The heaviness you once wore like armor, the pressure, the fatigue, the chronic tightness that settled deep into your joints, your spine, your very breath, it's melting now. Can you feel it, chosen one? That weight you thought was just part of who you had to be to survive. God is removing it, piece by piece, not just from your emotions but from your body. You got used to the burden, you normalized the tension, but heaven never wrote that struggle into your design. And now that you've surrendered, now that you've started to believe again, the divine alignment has begun. This release you're experiencing isn't about forgetting the past. It's not about pretending the pain didn't shape you. It's about not allowing that pain to define your next chapter. Your body isn't just stretching, it's exhaling. Your spine is no longer bracing for impact. Your breath is no longer shallow with fear. The stiffness in your walk is giving way to divine flexibility. That's not just physical relief, it's prophetic movement. God is literally loosening your body into freedom, as if your muscles are remembering what it feels like to be safe, to be strong, to be supported by something greater than your own willpower. Isaiah 10:27 declares, "In that day their burden will be lifted from your shoulders, their yoke from your neck. The yoke will be broken because you have grown so fat." The weight is breaking not because it's getting lighter, but because you are getting stronger, not in flesh alone, but in spirit, where your true frame is being fortified. You're not going back, and you're not meant to. Nostalgia is tempting, but it's not holy. What's ahead of you is not a return to what once was, it's a release into what's never been. You're not retracing your steps, you're ascending, and when God lifts you, He lifts all of you. He doesn't just raise your mindset while leaving your body behind, He takes the whole vessel higher. That's why your mornings are changing. You're waking up not in survival mode, but in sacred rhythm. That sudden clarity when you rise, that surprising strength when you thought you'd be exhausted. That's not adrenaline, that's alignment. Heaven is syncing your body to your calling. Have you wondered why your breath feels deeper lately? Why your shoulders rest a little lower? Why your heartbeat feels more grounded? It's because you're no longer living under spiritual gravity. God is reversing the impact of every season that tried to shrink you. Your alignment is pulling your health back into place, not because you earned it, but because you're aligned with it. When the spirit aligns, the body follows. Look at how dancers move when they're in sync with music. It's not forced, it's flow. That's what's happening in you. Your joints are starting to follow a melody they were always meant to dance to, a melody of wholeness, lightness, and divine strength. Consider the journey of someone like Tina Turner. After decades of abuse and exploitation, she didn't just escape emotionally, she had to rebuild physically. She didn't run back to who she used to be. She climbed into a higher version of herself. Her body became a vehicle for joy, movement, and legacy. That freedom showed in her voice, her posture, her presence. The glow wasn't just in her skin, it was in her alignment with divine peace. That's your story unfolding now. You're not reclaiming the past, you're being elevated for purpose. And let's be honest, don't you feel it in your rhythm? You're not rushing like you used to. You're not hustling for approval or pushing past your limits just to feel worthy. Instead, your steps are deliberate, your pauses are holy. You're not just moving, you're moving in sync. Psalm 18:36 says, "You provide a broad path for my feet, so that my ankles do not give way." That's not just protection, it's preparation. You're being given balance to walk boldly into rooms your past would have kept you from. And with this new strength, you'll find your breath returning to you, not shallow or hurried, but deep and calming. That breath you're taking now, it's sacred, it's evidence. You're no longer gasping for air in a world that demanded your silence. You're inhaling the breath of destiny, exhaling the weight of false identities. Each breath you take is a step into spiritual posture. Your lungs aren't just filling with air, they're filling with assurance, and the world around you is going to feel that shift. Look at someone like Morgan Freeman. His voice, his calm, his poise, it wasn't born out of ease. It was shaped by patience, faith, and alignment. As he aged, he didn't diminish. He grew into his authority, and the more he trusted who he was created to be, the more his body mirrored that confidence. His presence became a testimony in itself. You are stepping into that same kind of presence now, not as a performer, but as a vessel, not because you forced it, but because you aligned with it. So let me ask you, chosen one, what symptoms have you been carrying out of habit, not because they still belong to you? What aches have you accepted as permanent when they were only meant to be passing? Could it be that God is trying to pull you out of agreement with a story that ended long ago? Hebrews 12:12-13 says, "Therefore strengthen your feeble arms and weak knees. Make level paths for your feet, so that the lame may not be disabled but rather healed." You're not limping into your future, you're walking in healed authority. Even Steve Harvey, in his late 30s and early 40s, began to transform not just professionally, but physically. He left behind old ways of living, old habits, and old heaviness. His posture, confidence, and even his health improved, not because he went backward, but because he surrendered forward. That's the key. You are not being called to reverse time, you are being invited into divine timing. This is why you feel weight dropping off your shoulders and spirit. God is breaking the residue of stories that have already ended, so you don't drag their symptoms into the chapter that's just begun. So when you rise tomorrow and your body feels lighter, your breath fuller, your back straighter, don't doubt it, don't dismiss it, embrace it. This is not adrenaline, this is alignment, this is not hype, this is healing. And you, chosen one, are walking proof that when God lifts you, He lifts every part of you, body, soul, mind, and purpose. Let that freedom carry you forward. Let that release guide your next step. You're not carrying that old weight anymore. It's gone, because the only thing you're meant to carry now is glory. Your limbs are starting to move differently, not just with mobility, but with memory. They're not simply functioning. Chosen one, they're remembering. Remembering what? That they were crafted by divine design, not just to endure, but to express, to dance, to flow, to move with freedom, not tension. Your chest, which has so often tightened under the weight of unspoken grief, buried emotions and breathless stress, is finally beginning to open again. Your breath is not just expanding your lungs, it's expanding your future. And your brain, which has spent years preparing for worst-case scenarios, is finally learning to dream again. Not out of fantasy, but out of sacred expectation. Your thoughts are being baptized in hope, and your imagination is no longer a place of fear, but of freedom. And the most miraculous part of all this, you're not forcing any of it. You don't need to engineer this transformation. You don't need to micromanage the process. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your task is not control. Your task is belief. Because this isn't something you do with effort. It's something you access through faith. And faith, dear chosen one, is not passive. It's not just a theory or doctrine. It's a biological activator. Your body listens when you speak from belief. When you say, "I feel better," your cells align. When you say, "I'm healing," your nervous system adjusts. When you whisper, "This is real," the divine within you responds with acceleration. That's why Proverbs 18:21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit." Your words are not casual, they're creative. They speak to your cells and to your future. This isn't you pretending to be better. This is your biology, obeying your belief. Because this is not some far-off fantasy you're entertaining. You are not delusional. You are entering a new frequency, one that was always meant for you, but could only be accessed once you chose faith over fear. This frequency isn't based on hype or hope alone. It's built on holy resonance. It's the vibration of heaven recalibrating your entire system. The youthful feeling blooming within you, that's not a side effect. It's confirmation. You're not returning to some imaginary version of your best days. You're returning to the version of you that never left God's vision. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to finally meet yourself, the real you, not the one scarred by time, betrayal, shame, or survival? That moment is happening now. You're coming home to the version of you that existed before the world told you who you couldn't be. Not the childlike version that was confused by contradiction. Not the teenage version that crumbled under the weight of comparison. Not even the adult version that masked pain with performance. But the eternal version, the you that was fashioned by God in full clarity, full joy, and full purpose. Jeremiah 1:5 says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." That part of you isn't a past memory. It's a present activation. And your body is finally responding to the call. Just look at someone like Jim Carrey. For years he wore masks on screen and off, but when he began to awaken to his spiritual identity, everything shifted. His humor wasn't just performance, it became prophetic insight. His energy changed, his body shifted, and his speech began to reflect an alignment with something deeper. He wasn't trying to return to being young, he was returning to being real. You, chosen one, are walking that same sacred path now. Your glow is not about returning to a specific age. It's about returning to a specific frequency, one you were always meant to live in. And haven't you felt it? That quiet joy that shows up in the middle of a mundane moment. That strange peace that doesn't make sense on paper. That burst of energy that arrives not from caffeine but from clarity. These are not coincidences, they're confirmations. Your spirit is leading now, and your body is joyfully following. Your immune system, your joints, your skin, your voice, every part of you is echoing the truth of your identity. You are not decaying, you are activating. You are not declining, you are ascending. Let's reflect on the journey of someone like Shakira. Her music and body moved the world, but as she stepped into seasons of reinvention, her energy didn't fade, it deepened. Her ability to dance, to express, to flow didn't disappear with age, it sharpened with clarity. Her limbs didn't grow tired, they grew purposeful. That's what divine frequency does. It doesn't remove the years, it redeems them. And that's what's unfolding in you right now. This is not regression, this is resurrection. So I ask you, chosen one, what would shift in your life if you stopped trying to chase youth and started embodying divine alignment? What would it feel like to stop rehearsing your traumas and start dancing in your truth? Could it be that your body isn't breaking down, but breaking free? Romans 12:1 urges us, present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Your very posture is a prayer now. Your breath is a worship song. Your energy is a testimony. Even Robin Sharma, the leadership coach and author of The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, teaches that the body reflects the level of purpose one carries. After experiencing burnout, he didn't collapse, he recalibrated. He embraced simplicity, spiritual discipline, and divine focus. His vitality returned, not through noise but through stillness, not through performance but presence. And so it is with you. As your soul settles into the truth of who you are, your body becomes a vessel of testimony. So don't waste time asking, is this too good to be true? Ask instead, why did I wait this long to believe it? Because your transformation is not pending, it's present. And the more you align with it, the more effortless it becomes. Faith doesn't make things easy, it makes them possible. And now that you're walking in possibility, your entire being is rejoicing. Your limbs are dancing, your chest is rising, your brain is dreaming, not because of anything external, but because your spirit finally has permission to lead. Chosen one, your return is not to youth, it's to original purpose. You are becoming again, not someone else, not something else, but fully, fearlessly, finally, you. You may not have known it, chosen one, but your body was never your enemy. It never set out to sabotage you, to betray your purpose, or to work against your calling. It simply didn't yet understand what was possible. It was responding faithfully and automatically to the programming it received from your environment, from culture, from inherited fears and beliefs. For years, your body was listening to the world more than your spirit. It learned what it saw, it obeyed what it heard, it adapted to limitation, because that's all it was ever told to expect. Fatigue, normal, pain, inevitable, aging, unstoppable. But now, something holy is happening. Now your body is receiving new instructions, not from medicine, not from the media, but from your alignment with heaven. And that's why everything is shifting faster than you can logically explain. Your physical form is no longer taking cues from a fallen world, it's taking commands from risen truth. Your faith is now the teacher, your spirit is now the instructor, and your biology is finally learning what it was always capable of. This isn't denial, this isn't escapism, this is elevation. You're not pretending time doesn't pass, you're allowing God to show you how to transcend it. Because He's not bound by clocks, and neither is the part of you He's waking up. Romans 8:19 says, For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. Even your cells are waiting for revelation. They were created to house glory, not decay. Your body wasn't meant to simply survive. It was built to host the spirit. The fatigue, the deterioration, the slow decline that you accepted as natural, those were learned responses. But now your spirit is re-educating your body. Your posture is beginning to reflect possibility. Your muscles are remembering strength. Your mind is waking up not with confusion, but with clarity. This is not coincidence. This is kingdom intelligence. Just look at the evidence. You're waking up more alert, not from caffeine, but from connection. You're moving through the day with a lightness that defies your calendar. You're laughing with less hesitation. You're breathing without heaviness. This is not mood fluctuation. This is spiritual recalibration. Your body is no longer echoing exhaustion. It's echoing expectancy. That low-grade ache that used to be a constant background hum, it's fading. That stiffness that greeted you every morning, it's loosening. Why? Because your body is realizing it doesn't have to carry what your soul has finally released. Have you considered that maybe your glow isn't random? That your sharpened mind isn't just good rest, but good alignment? Psalm 92:12-14 says, "The righteous will flourish like a palm tree. They will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green." That's not poetic wishful thinking. That's a divine standard. You're not just recovering your youth. You're stepping into your design. Your body was created to respond to glory. And now that glory is awakening inside you, everything that once felt sluggish, dormant, or decayed is beginning to shift. You're not fighting age. You're embodying purpose. Look at someone like Pharrell Williams. For years, people have asked him the secret behind his seemingly ageless appearance. But it's more than skincare. It's his energy, his joy, his frequency. He lives in a state of creativity, gratitude, and presence, realms that keep the spirit young and the body aligned. And though not always framed spiritually, that alignment protects and preserves. You're stepping into that same preservation now, but yours is spiritual first, physical second. Your joy isn't just refreshing your mind, it's rewiring your cells. And it's not just outward, it's in the way you move through the world. People are beginning to notice. They can't put their finger on it. They'll say, "You look different. There's something about you," or "You seem lighter," and they won't be wrong. But what they don't know is that your transformation didn't come from a diet or a workout. It came from a divine encounter. It came from alignment. It came from trusting the God who knows how to reverse what the world declared irreversible. Think of the story of Caleb in the Bible. At 85 years old, he declared in Joshua 14:11, "I am still as strong today as the day Moses sent me out. I'm just as vigorous to go out to battle now as I was then." That wasn't metaphor. That was covenant strength. God preserved Caleb's energy, not because he ignored time, but because he remained faithful and aligned with his assignment. You're not being made strong for nostalgia. You're being made strong for battle, for testimony, for territory. Chosen one. What if your aches were never permanent, but just indicators of misalignment? What if your limitations weren't sentences, but signals? Could it be that your body is not failing you, but finally being freed from false instruction? Your temple is sacred ground, and God is reclaiming it, not with force, but with faith. He's restoring it because it's going to carry something massive, something holy, something heavy in glory, but light in burden. Take someone like Halle Berry, diagnosed with diabetes at a young age. Many expected her career and vitality to decline. But through intentional alignment, mental, spiritual, and physical, she not only sustained her strength, she expanded it. Her presence remains powerful, her movement fluid, her mind sharp. Why? Because she took control of her energy, not just her image. And so are you. Your body is no longer just reacting to life, it's responding to purpose. So the next time you feel that unexpected burst of energy, or catch your reflection and sense something different, don't dismiss it. Name it. Say out loud, "This is my body obeying my spirit." Because you're not just hoping anymore, you're hosting something holy. You're not surviving by default, you're thriving by design. And every time you affirm it, heaven echoes that affirmation right back into your frame. This is not you pretending to feel better. This is you being reintroduced to how you were always meant to feel. This is your divine rhythm returning. Your body is no longer confused. It's no longer captive to cycles of decay. It's aligning with the truth that glory doesn't age, purpose doesn't wither, and the vessel of a chosen one was never meant to deteriorate. It was meant to radiate. You are the proof, chosen one. You are the evidence that God is not just restoring minds and spirits, but also bones, breath, and movement. You are the testimony that alignment heals faster than explanation, that belief rewrites biology, and that glory knows no expiration date. Your nervous system, once calibrated to react with fear, tension, and survival mode panic, is now being rewired to respond to peace. Not the temporary peace of quiet moments or external control, but the deep, unshakable peace that comes from divine assurance. Do you feel it, chosen one? That subtle shift in your reactions, how your heart no longer races like it used to, how your breath remains steady even when chaos swirls around you. That's not just emotional growth. That's supernatural reprogramming. Your body is no longer being held hostage by past trauma or old programming. It's now being instructed by heaven. The command center of your body, your nervous system, is finally tuning itself to the frequency of faith. Your bones, the very frame that holds you together, are being rebuilt, not with vitamins alone, but with vision. What once carried the residue of weariness, fatigue, and generational stress is now being fortified with divine resilience. Psalm bones, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. That healing isn't just metaphorical, it's molecular. Your very marrow is beginning to mirror your new mission. Where there was brittleness, there's now strength. Where there was tension, there's now trust. Your hormones too, those invisible messengers of energy, balance, and well-being, are finding harmony again. But this time, not simply because of rest or routine. They're aligning with your purpose. Your body is beginning to prioritize not what the world demands, but what your spirit needs. Have you noticed it? Your sleep is becoming more restorative. Your energy levels are no longer erratic but purposeful. Your appetite is beginning to follow peace instead of pressure. That's because your internal chemistry is beginning to obey your calling. You are no longer being fueled by fear. You are being guided by grace. And perhaps most sacred of all, your memory. Not just the recall of past events, but the way your brain is interpreting those events. For so long, your memory replayed pain, shame, and confusion like a broken loop. But now, even your memories are being recoded, not erased, but redeemed. You're not just remembering the past, you're reclaiming your future. Isaiah 43:18-19 says, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing." And that new thing is not only external, it's neural. God is rewriting the pathways of your brain to prepare you for what's ahead. Your thoughts are no longer haunted by what was, they are being prepared to host what will be. Let's look at someone like Malala Yousafzai. After surviving an assassination attempt, her body had to heal from trauma that went far beyond the physical. But what's remarkable is that her recovery wasn't just medical, it was mission-driven. Her mind rewired around purpose. Her voice returned, not as a whisper, but as a war cry for justice. Her scars became sacred signals of assignment. And chosen one, that's what's happening in you. Your healing is not ornamental, it's operational. You are being made new, not just to be whole, but to be holy. And this is where we arrive at the most intimate truth of all. You are not undergoing this transformation to be admired. You're not being renewed so that people can compliment your glow or envy your peace. You're not being lifted to show off, you're being lifted to be sent. Your restoration is not about recognition, it's about readiness. God is not just making you beautiful, He's making you usable. You're being rebuilt for mission, not mirrors. Can you sense the difference? The weight of needing to prove yourself is gone. The impulse to perform has quieted. You no longer crave applause. You crave alignment. You're not trying to look like a miracle, you are becoming one. Luke 1:45 says, "Blessed is she who has believed that the Lord would fulfill His promises to her." That blessing isn't a trophy, it's a mantle. It's a confirmation that what is being done in secret is sacred. Take someone like Chadwick Boseman. In his final years while battling immense physical hardship, He didn't use his platform to seek pity. He used it to serve purpose. His body was undergoing suffering, but his spirit carried assignment. And in the midst of personal pain, he released some of his most impactful work. His transformation wasn't about being seen. It was about being sent. He knew that the calling on his life was bigger than comfort. And you, chosen one, are in the same space. You are not being made well just to enjoy wellness. You are being sanctified to carry something the world needs. So what if the glow, the clarity, the restoration you're experiencing isn't the reward, but the preparation? What if the change you see in the mirror is the wrapping of a message God is about to deliver through you? Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works which God prepared in advance for us to do." Your healing is not random. It's a response to that preparation. Every breath you take now, every moment of peace you feel in your bones, is proof that you are being positioned for impact. Even someone like Bethany Hamilton, the surfer who lost her arm to a shark attack, learned to realign not just physically, but spiritually. Her nervous system had to relearn balance. Her muscles had to adjust. But what truly transformed her life was the realignment of purpose. She wasn't restored to go back to the same version of life. She was rebuilt to move forward with greater force. And you are being called to do the same. You're not returning to normal. You're moving into the supernatural. So remember this. Chosen one, this isn't simply physical rejuvenation. It's prophetic reconstruction. Your nervous system is a temple now. Your bones are carrying fire now. Your hormones are harmonizing with divine music. Your memory is being cleaned for clarity. And none of this is for decoration. It's for deployment. You are not being rebuilt so people will look at you. You are being rebuilt so God can move through you. You are a vessel in motion, a walking signal of heaven, a body in alignment with prophecy. Chosen one, do you feel the subtle hum beneath your skin, the fresh urgency that wakes you before the alarm and whispers, there is ground left to claim? God is restoring your youth because the assignment ahead is larger than any space you have occupied so far. What doors have yet to swing open at the sound of your footsteps? Which conversations will tilt when your renewed presence enters the room? There are divine appointments on calendars you have never seen, rooms that crave the glow in your eyes, boards that need the steadiness of your voice, circles waiting for the courage carried in your stride, and heaven will not let the vessel falter before the mission begins. Have you wondered why your reflection startles you lately, why your skin looks lit from within, why laughter rises unforced from somewhere deep? That radiance is not cosmetic, it is covenant. Even to your old age and grey hairs, I am He who will sustain you, God promises in Isaiah 46:4, and that sustaining power is rewriting how time touches you. Consider Colonel Harlan Sanders, who franchised his first Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant at 62. The world called him late, God called him right on time. His wrinkles never disqualified his recipe from feeding nations, just as fine lines on your face cannot veto the fire in your spirit. Do you see the pattern? The countdown you feared has ended, but not with the buzzer of limitation, it ends with the trumpet of release. Grandma Moses took up painting at 78, transforming farmhouse memories into masterpieces that now hang in museums. What masterpieces inside you are waiting for this very season to emerge? Psalm 71:18 declares, "Even when I am old and grey, do not forsake me, my God, till I declare your power to the next generation." That verse is leaping off the page and into your bloodstream. It insists that legacy, not longevity, is the thermometer of your life. Ask yourself, will you measure the worth of your days by numbers on a cake or by the lives ignited through your obedience? Samuel L. Jackson landed his breakout role at 45, his cadence and gravitas honed by decades of unseen preparation. The same spirit that steadied his late-blooming brilliance is fine-tuning your walk so it carries prophetic punctuation into every corridor you enter. And what about Laura Ingalls Wilder, who published her first Little House novel at 65? She did not resurrect childhood stories for nostalgia. She converted them into blueprints of hope for millions. Likewise, every healed scar on your body is becoming a syllabus of faith for those who have quietly wondered if God still makes impossible things possible. Can you perceive how your bones feel lighter, how your steps land with quiet thunder, how your lungs retrieve breath as though each inhale is an answered prayer? Job 33:25 paints the picture. Let their flesh be renewed like a child's. Let them be restored as in the days of their youth. That restoration is not a sentimental rewind, it is strategic militarization. You carry an anointing designed to unsettle complacency, confront mediocrity, and dismantle every lie that age equals decline. Is it any surprise then that people double take when you pass by? They sense disruption wearing humble shoes. They call it looking amazing, but heaven calls it looking like destiny. With each inhale, you are weaponized against stagnation. With every exhale, you anoint the atmosphere with possibility. Can fear coexist with a body that has become a living proof text? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. 2 Corinthians 3:17, and that freedom now pulses through your capillaries. Ernestine Shepherd, who began bodybuilding at 56 and became the world's oldest competing female bodybuilder in her 70s, shows what alignment can sculpt from flesh once the mind consents to purpose. Her story stands beside yours as a mirror, evidence that the human frame, surrendered to calling, outperforms every prediction etched by culture or calendar. Why is the light in your eyes sharpening? Because it carries coordinates. Why does your gait feel like choreography? Because your feet have rehearsed for halls where your name is already whispered. You are the miracle strolling down the sidewalk, the rebuttal to every report that deemed renewal a myth. When you enter a space, you do not steal attention, you redistribute hope. You are the prophecy in motion, the sermon that doesn't need a pulpit. And every chuckle, every glow, every confident step thunders the same message: I am not finished, I have just begun. So walk, chosen one. Let corridors witness what glory looks like when it refuses to age. Let your restored strength scandalize resignation. Let your very existence preach that rejuvenation is not siphoned from youth, it is summoned by purpose. You carry no counterfeit brightness from bottles nor borrowed stamina from supplements. You carry resurrection's residue. Now, with the clock silenced and the spirit roaring, step boldly into the rooms that have been holding their breath for you. They'll finally exhale when you arrive. Beloved chosen one, let the world catch up to what heaven has already sealed over your life. Let the rumors, the confusion, the doubts, all of it fade like smoke in the presence of glory. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the radiance you now carry. The transformation you're walking in wasn't voted on by people, it was ordained by God. Your only task is obedience. Your only posture is surrender. So wear your healing without hesitation. Smile like the scars never silenced you. Move like nothing from your past is authorized to hold you anymore. Dream freely, knowing that time is no longer your enemy, it's your servant. This moment is not your comeback. It's not a redo. It's not a second chance. It's the divine unveiling of a soul that never gave up, that was never forgotten, and that has now been called forth in full fire, full favor, and full authority. You are not declining. You are not fading. You are divinely reversing, and your body is rising to match the truth your spirit has always carried. Thank you deeply for walking through this sacred revelation with me. Thank you for letting these words enter your space, your spirit, your story. I am beyond grateful for your presence here. If this message lit something inside you, if you felt God's voice echo through it, I invite you to support this mission through a super thanks donation. It helps this message reach further, touch deeper, and carry light into more places that need it. But whether you give or not, please know this: your presence is a gift, your journey matters, and I honor you just for showing up, listening, and being open to what God is doing through you right now. Before you go, I speak a blessing over you. May the days ahead unlock miracles your timeline can't explain. May your body walk lighter, your soul dream louder, and your purpose rise bolder. May divine health pursue you, joy rest on you, and supernatural favor surround you like a shield. You are not behind, you are right on time, you are not broken, you are being built, and you are not forgotten, you are chosen. If this word stirred your spirit, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone you love, and make sure to subscribe so we can keep walking this awakening journey together. There's more ahead. Choose the next video on your screen that calls to your spirit, and I'll meet you there. God bless you richly always.